Hey, I'm Nancy Cavey, National ERISA and Individual Disability Attorney. Welcome to Winning Isn't Easy. Before we get started, I've got to give you a legal disclaimer. This podcast isn't legal advice. The Florida Bar Association says I've got to say this, so I've said it, but nothing will ever prevent me from giving you an easy-to-understand overview of the disability insurance world, the games that disability carriers play, and what you need to know to get the disability benefits you deserve. So, off we go. Disability carriers will do just about anything to deny a claim, even a legitimate one. They'll play craftily. They'll play dirty. They'll play mean and nasty. I often say that they have a denial termination toolbox, much like a gardener has a toolbox. In this episode today, I'm going to walk you through some of the strategies that disability carriers employ to deny your disability benefits. I'm going to talk about three things. One, don't have regrets when you talk with a short or long-term disability insurance carrier, how your words can and will be used against you. Two, one court rules that disability insurance carriers need to think twice before using four of their favorite tools in the termination toolbox. And last, what you say to the disability insurance carrier can come back and bite you. The 11th Circuit rejects a functional capacity evaluation because of the policyholder's reported activity. So let's take a break for a moment before we get started with this week's episode.
Have you been robbed of your peace of mind from your disability insurance carrier? You owe it to yourself to get a copy of Robbed of Your Peace of Mind, which provides you with everything you need to know about the long-term disability claim process. Request your free copy of the book at kvlaw.com today.
Welcome back to Winning Isn't Easy. You ready to get started? All right, let's not have regrets when you talk with a short or long-term disability insurance carrier, how your words can and will be used against you. Disability carrier representatives are going to call you when you apply for your benefits, and they're going to renew your initial application, and they're going to call you during your claim when you're on diary. These calls are not social visits like you're talking to your mom. These calls, which are normally recorded, are to get you to say something that will give them a reason to deny a claim. Now, I don't allow disability carrier representatives to speak with my clients unless I'm present, and I record the conversation. I never let them come to my clients' houses or even to their doctor's office. I've been told by ERISA short and long-term disability policy holders who have talked with the disability carriers that they have several regrets about that conversation. So let's talk about the talking too much during a discussion with a disability carrier. Just like the Meghan Trainor song, "You Talk Too Much," you probably will be saying too much. They'll ask all sorts of questions, and you want to impress them with your honesty by telling them way too much information. Just answer the blasted questions and don't volunteer any information. For example, they may ask you about your activities and confront you with Facebook posts or even surveillance. And what you say, not only on your activity of daily living forms, and what you say during this phone call, and what you say during this phone call in response to the Facebook posts or even the surveillance, if they're showing it to you, will be used against you, guaranteed. The second mistake is that you can be too friendly. Now, they're not your friends, and I don't want them to be calling you randomly. You wouldn't let them in your house, and you wouldn't let them meet you at your doctor's office. And while you do have a duty to cooperate with them, I prefer that these calls be scheduled if they're going to have a call. The reason is that they're trying to catch you, and you might say, "Oh, well, I'm out and about doing X, Y, and Z. Can I call you back?" Well, that activity may be inconsistent with what you've told your doctor or what you've reported, or maybe inconsistent with what you claim you're unable to do. So the other thing I want to point out is that you don't want to accept friend requests from people or organizations that you don't know. While it's not legal to send friend requests, that hasn't stopped disability insurance carriers or their investigators to do just that, and then use your post as a reason to deny your claim. I want you to also assume that they have surveillance on you. Follow your doctor's advice about your restrictions and limitations, and don't exaggerate what you're doing. And specifically, don't exaggerate what you're telling your doctor that you're doing. The carrier will use these exaggerations to then get surveillance, and then they will go to the doctor and say, look, you're relying on these representations, and look what they're doing on video, and what they said they could do. Now, doctor, don't you agree with me that all this activity is inconsistent with what they're saying to you that they can do, and you're relying on this. You're just nothing more than an echo chamber, but here's the facts. Now, doctors will buy that. They'll take that hook, line, and sinker, and they will change their mind about your restrictions and limitations. So please don't give the carrier ammunition to deny your claim. And the third trick is going to be discussing your medical records. So the disability carrier is going to call you up, and they're going to say, we have questions about your medical records. How about this? How about that? And my response is, if you have a question about my client's medical records, put it in writing, and we will respond to this. And certainly, if you've got questions about what the doctor has said, we don't want you to have a phone call with them. You got to write a letter. And by the way, that letter's got to be copied to me. Okay? So make sure that any discussion of your medical records, either with you or with your doctor, is done in writing. And please, please don't suggest that your doctor is not a good doctor, or they're not handling your case properly, or they don't understand you, or any other myriad of excuses. Because I know the disability carrier will make sure that your doctor knows exactly what you think about them. And you think that's going to help your disability claim? Nope, I don't think so. Let's take a break.